Social Security is one of the backbones of retirement planning and relied upon by millions of Americans every month. From its inception, it helped establish the very idea of widespread retirement in the U.S. and allowed Americans to enjoy their golden years without fear of slipping into poverty. So why do we keep hearing that Social Security is in trouble? How has it changed over the years? And how should we plan for it in the future? I'm Morgan Patrick, and this is Retiring Yesterday versus Retiring Today, Social Security. The Social Security Act was signed into law in 1935 during the Great Depression. It was part of FDR's sweeping New Deal legislation to combat poverty, which had particularly hit senior citizens hard at rates of over 50%. The Social Welfare Program was designed for a social safety net for retired elderly citizens, widows, and fatherless children. Now the program has expanded to include those with disabilities, and over 69 million Americans in 2020 received benefits. So how is it funded? For the most part, Social Security is a pay-as-you-go program. A lot of people believe that what you pay in over time is what you earn in return, like your own bank account. But in fact, the current generation of workers are paying for the current generation of retirees. In 2019, $1.1 trillion in revenue was collected for Social Security. 89% of that came from the payroll tax for workers, 3.4% was from income taxes paid by the beneficiaries, and 7.6% from interest on government bonds held by the trust fund. So if it's mainly a pay-as-you-go program, why do we hear that Social Security is in trouble and running out of money? Part of it comes down to changing demographics. For one, baby boomers, the largest generation of the U.S. workforce up until around 2011, they are either already at the early claiming age, full retirement age, or nearing retirement. And with life expectancy improving with modern health and medicine, people are claiming benefits longer than ever before. Alongside this trend, birth rates have been dropping since the late 1980s. That means that we aren't replacing workers that pay into the system fast enough to keep up with the amount of people retiring to stabilize funding for the long term. The key statistic here is the workers to beneficiaries ratio. Here's a breakdown of how that's changed over the decades. In 1940, there were 159.4 workers for every one Social Security beneficiary as the program slowly started. But as the program scaled up, that number stabilized in the 1960s, and you can see this ratio has been dropping almost every decade. The ratio is expected to drop to 2.2 by 2030, when the baby boomer generation will have largely retired. But remember, we said that Social Security is mostly a pay-as-you-go system, so when people talk about its demise, they're mainly talking about the trust fund being depleted. The trust fund is what you're actually paying into when you pay Social Security taxes, and what the government withdraws from every month to pay benefits. Money from the trust fund is also invested into government-backed bonds. That's to accrue interest as another source of income. But the trust fund is being depleted quicker than it's being replenished. It's projected that the trust fund will be depleted by 2034 in its current form. If this happens, benefits will have to be reduced. The optimistic good news is that the majority of Social Security benefits will still be able to be paid out. It's estimated that 79% of what is paid now will be able to still be paid monthly. So what are some potential solutions to save this program and protect its longevity? One is to raise the full retirement age for Social Security benefits. This has been done a number of times, but that alone likely wouldn't cover the full amount needed. And moving the goalposts for retirement would also be extremely unpopular across the board. Most workers want to retire sooner, not later. Another idea is to raise payroll tax rates. This is that FICA son of a gun that takes a piece of your paycheck every month. However, it's estimated even this increase may not cover the full amount needed either. And this also will be immensely unpopular and put most of the burden on the working class. Another option is to lower benefits or adjust how benefits are calculated, especially for people who are well off. Some proposals recommend keeping benefits the same for the bottom earners, but reduce benefits on a sliding scale after a certain income. However, middle-class workers would be hurt the most in this scenario, and with increasing healthcare costs and other means of income at risk, This option puts a large population in a pinch. Lastly, the option to raise or completely eliminate the payroll tax cap. Right now, income is taxed at a certain percentage up to $142,800 a year for 2021. So those making above this amount don't pay the payroll tax every dollar earned over the cap. It's estimated that eliminating the payroll tax cap altogether could cut the projected 75-year deficit in half. It's likely we'll need a combination of these reforms to really make a lasting impact on the sustainability of Social Security. Social Security has been a hugely successful social insurance program, and it's almost universally supported by Americans. It's framed as a promise to every American worker that if you work hard now and help us take care of our vulnerable, eventually we'll do the same for you when you retire. But unfortunately, that promise is currently on shaky ground. The bottom line is, while this program has helped millions of Americans in the past, it's best to not plan for Social Security to be your primary source of retirement income. We can plan for some form of these promised benefits, but it's better to look at it as supplementary income. Retiring yesterday looks pretty different than retiring today, but that's why it's important to have a financial partner to help you develop a roadmap. Call our office today to help you get started with your total retirement income plan, one that doesn't completely rely on Social Security. I'm Morgan Patrick. Thanks for watching.